Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. Sorry, there's a swinging spider beside you. I'm in the car at the minute and I couldn't find, like, even this has potatoes hair on it, a proper place to put my phone, so I've just kind of propped it up and I'm hoping you don't fall over. And I just thought I would do a quick like chat video while I'm waiting to get my kids from school. I brought my coffee with me. It's just like black coffee. I badly need to paint my nails. I was out in the garden doing gardening, and even though I have gardening gloves, at some point I always forget when I've taken them off to put them back on again, and then I end up with soil under my nails and it looks horrible, so I need to do those later. I'm just going to fix my hair while I'm talking to you because it's a mess. I braided it like 2 days ago and haven't fixed it since, and it's starting to get all frizzy and weird, so I'll just do that while I'm talking to you. And I kind of wanted to do like a February reset video as well because I have just been thinking about the fact that it's a new month. I feel really positive about February so far. I actually got some writing done earlier in my house, which feels like a real achievement, and I don't know whether I want to plot this again or if I just want to tie it up or something. It feels like too much work right now. Maybe I'll see how it looks in pigtails. So yeah, focus, Kaylin, stop your mind wandering. So I actually was writing bits of 2 different books, which probably isn't the best idea, but I just have a brain that jumps around. This day has flown in because I went to have coffee with my friend. We just went to Cafe Nero. Potato had a puppuccino. We were there for nearly 3 hours talking, and it felt like about half an hour. I like those kinds of conversations, but yeah, it kind of makes sense. The day has flown in now. So yeah, apart from that, I just walked Potato twice, went home, I did a bit of writing, and I did some gardening, and I changed the beds and hoovered the house. And that's pretty much it. I've got an easy dinner to make because last night I made like chicken goujons, which I made far too many of, so I'm going to use the leftovers and heat them and use them in like chicken wraps later, and I think everyone should probably eat that. My hair looks kind of nuts. I don't know whether to leave it like this or not. I just don't know if I have the energy for braiding right now, especially in such a confined space. I really would like to get like some kind of phone stand for my car so I can make videos more easily, but it seems to be working so far, apart from the fact you've got the spider in front of you. And yeah, I'm just trying to remind myself that I'm still doing a no-buy year and that the new month doesn't mean it's over, because I think part of my brain, because I did an October no-buy, thinks okay, the month's over, the no-buy is over. I haven't felt tempted at all to buy like physical items. I feel more tempted to go for coffee, but yeah, I know that one of my subscribers had said that I should go back to doing my little coffee dates because I do my writing there, and in some ways I feel like it is the only place I can actually properly get into it, because even though I did some writing at home today, there were still distractions and I didn't get near my kind of preferred word count. So yeah, I'm trying to think what else is happening. Why is my brain all floaty today? So I'm just waiting to get the girls from school, and yeah, it's like big homework day kind of. We try to get most done on Monday to get it out of the way, also because they have a lot of extracurricular activities throughout the week. My daughter has now started like she's kind of on this table tennis squad on a Sunday afternoon, so that's something else to go to now, but she really enjoyed it yesterday and she didn't want to go, and she's quite often reluctant to go to things on her own without her sister, but then when she actually goes she enjoys herself. So I kind of forced her to go, and she actually thanked me after for making her go because she loved it. She's really good at netball and table tennis, and yeah, I don't think she gets that from me. But what was I going to say? Yes, so February, I'm trying to just get back into the no-buy mindset and reminding myself that it's another no-buy month, although with this one it is a shorter month, and in my mind that makes it more achievable for some reason. And yeah, I was also going to talk about, whenever I'm out walking Potato most days, I pass this guy who had a little dog. It's like a Jack Russell, and it seems like it's his best friend. Like, he was obviously very attached to it and carried it on walks and things, and he said that the dog is 18, so like it was doing well, but it did sometimes walk by itself for parts of the walk too. Anyway, I've seen him out and about a lot recently, and the dog isn't with him anymore, and he looked really like sad or angry or something, but I couldn't really tell which. And I continued saying hi, but it was clear he was just avoiding me because he wouldn't make eye contact, and or unless he was kind of looking in my direction, glaring. And I don't know if he was maybe annoyed because we have a dog that's still like alive and well, and maybe it's kind of like triggering for him. But yeah, like I had continued to kind of like smile and say hi, and thought maybe he's just down and needs that. But the other day he passed me on a walk, and he was walking in the opposite direction to me, and then about 5 minutes later I felt something like right behind me, and somebody like pushed past me, and it was him, like walking really kind of fast and angrily, and it just sort of took me aback because I was like, why is he acting like that? And I feel sad for him, because if I'm assuming his dog has died, because I haven't seen it in a while, but I don't think that. I think sometimes if you're sad you can kind of, I was saying before my memory got full, that sometimes I think you can kind of take it out on people around you when it's actually not anything to do with them. And I don't know, maybe in the past I've kind of been guilty of that in a way, like not being mean to people, but just like not being in a good place, and probably not being like, and kind of going inward and not being as like friendly and positive as I want to be. And I really think that the way that you behave affects the people around you so much, even if they're just passing you for a moment. And I find that the more I try to kind of pull myself out of a rut and find things to be grateful and positive for, even when I'm going through tougher times, it seems to have a kind of ripple effect around you. And I think like our moods aren't about us really so much as, I know we're the ones like that are sometimes suffering from them, but I think that our moods affect other people around us like almost more than they do us, because they're having to live with the like environment that you're creating. And I just think it reinforced to me that I want to keep choosing to be kind to people even if I'm having a tough time, and to kind of try to see outside my own circumstances enough to think I want to make that person's day better. Yeah, that was just a thought I was having, but I'm gonna have to go get the girls now. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I'm gonna include a little vlog, and I will see you soon. Bye. So this morning we dropped my partner at work, and we saw part of the sunrise, and I just pulled into a parking space so we could admire it. I'm sorry if there's barking in the background, but Potato's doing his usual. I just thought the sky was so beautiful, and it inspired me, and it was like a really joyful kind of start to the day. And I met a friend at Cafe Nero, and before she got there, Potato had a puppuccino and he loved it, obviously. And I decided to do some gardening today because it was dry outside, and some things in the garden have kind of been bothering me because I feel like we have a big front and back garden, and sometimes I can get overwhelmed by it, and it feels like there is like a little bit too much to do. But I have been trying really hard recently to focus on only doing one thing that feels achievable at a time, because I have a tendency to look at a mess as a whole and get really overwhelmed and not know where to start, and then I procrastinate. But I find if I just do one small kind of achievable task and only think about that, it actually helps me get much more done. Sorry, the kids are outside and Potato's barking his head off. So yeah, I decided to deadhead the hydrangea. We have another bush out the front, and I did it before the winter. It was kind of an experiment to see, like, because my dad had told me that some people think that if you leave the flowers on over like throughout winter that it protects the plant, but I wasn't really sure, because usually I always cut the flowers off. before the winter, and it always grows back really nicely. So if you know about this, feel free to let me know. But I feel like I don't know much about gardening and I'm not great with plants, but I try to kind of maintain our garden the best I can and keep it relatively tidy, although I know it gets a bit wild if you don't attend to it regularly, because there's just like so much of it and so many plants that were there like long before we arrived, because our house is from like 1960. So, and I think there was like a gardener that lived here before, because just the number of plants that there are that continue to thrive every year, like they obviously knew what they were doing. And I actually find doing things like this and weeding really like calming for my mind, and I get a lot of ideas whenever I'm doing stuff like that, because it just empties your mind. And I find being outside in general, it just puts me in a better mood, and I'm looking forward to being able to get my little table out again and sit outside and write and journal in the garden. And the patch behind the shed where I'm kind of standing is where I put the table and chairs whenever it's like sunny weather. And we don't have like a fancy table and chairs, but I've just put it in the shed at the moment because of the storm. I didn't want it to get blown away. And yeah. And are you somebody that enjoys gardening? Does it come naturally to you? Do you feel like you know much about it, or do you just kind of do what you can? And I feel like I've always been like included in gardening because my dad is a gardener and he is really good at it, and he always would have involved us in all of the garden work he was doing when we were growing up. But I feel like although I absorbed the information, I don't know why, but I just don't have the same natural gardening kind of tendencies as him, and he just has a lot of luck with plants. But I just like to try to keep our space as nice as I can, and yeah, I love to see the birds and things, as I've said, coming into the garden. And I know we're lucky to have a big space, because our last house we had a small yard, and the only thing I would say is that whenever I worked on it for a while, I would see like a visible difference when I was finished, but now I don't notice it as much because there's just so much and so many different areas to do, and it just takes a lot longer. But I think it's good to have a project like that, and it's another good way to get outside without having to get in the car and go somewhere. Or I don't know, I want to involve Potato in my gardening, but the problem is that whenever I bring him outside, he immediately runs around the front of the house and barks at whoever is on the street. And with the construction work going on across the road, I just feel like it's a bit of a nightmare at the minute. So I might kind of try to train him to stop doing that and gradually bring him out with me, because he does love running around the garden. Yeah, so I'm just kind of giving you an idea of the size of our garden and the way it's laid out. And there used to be a garage in this patch, but then we got a shed put in, and then left an area behind it for sitting in the sunshine. It's like a little bit more private, and I found these plants today while I was gardening, and it was like a nice little surprise to find something thriving just by itself. Thanks for watching, and I will make another video soon. And yeah, don't forget to subscribe for more content. Have a great day. Bye.